Hey sister, welcome back to Around the Kitchen Table, our sacred space to gather each week, just like we would if we lived down the lane from each other. A place where you could pop by for a cuppa, share what's really on your heart, and know that you'd be met with a warm smile, a listening ear, and no judgment. In a world that so often keeps us apart, behind screens, schedules, and silent struggles, this is our remembering. A return to what we've always known deep down, that when women gather, not to fix, not to perform, but simply to be, something ancient and healing awakens. This space is for that, for you, for us, for the ripple of sacred sisterhood, and that begins around this very table. So good morning, good morning. It in fact is actually early morning. I have been waking up at 5:55 every morning for the last week, and that's not unusual for me. But it's been a precious week, and it's pushed me to get up earlier and earlier. So for those of you that are watching this on a screen, this is me looking a bit of a wreck, zero makeup, very puffy, on the spare bed because I can't be in my office right now. But I wanted to show up with you this morning, partly because I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I'm going to be in London at the Mind Body Spirit Festival, and we go today to set up, and so I'm recording this on Thursday morning at silly o'clock. And I wanted to kind of just connect with you. Today's episode really comes from a very raw, real place in my heart. Last Wednesday, I lost a dear friend, someone who was a huge part of my life, not for long. And I want you to hold that moment. She wasn't in my life for, years and years and years. I haven't known her since childhood. She isn't someone who I spoke to every day or every week even. She was my teacher, and she was someone who, really journeyed with me through a part of my life in such a meaningful way. And she passed through cancer. So I guess this podcast really comes with a trigger warning for anyone that, may be affected by what I'm sharing. But I also want to invite you to sit with the wisdom of what I'm sharing with you here. What to say about this woman? She was wise beyond her years. She began to teach and share and connect with One Spirit, the organization that I am ordained through as an interfaith minister. And she actually was my teacher. She ordained me, and she took me on the deepest journey for the 2 years that I did that training. So much so, I said to her one day, I can't decide if you think I'm going to be amazing, so you keep pushing me, or you really just dislike me. Because it was hard. It was hard. And yet she saw me like nobody had ever seen me. She used to say to me, Laura, don't get in the ring. Just don't get in the ring. You have the most honed defenses of anyone I've ever known. And you come out with your gloves on, ready before there's even a fight to be had. And I sat with that, and at the beginning of it, I was like, what does she mean? Like, what is she saying here? This feels really horrible. And I used to literally, my body would retract. And yet, those words took me on a healing journey that I don't know how many years of therapy hadn't cracked. She used to also talk about feeling like she only got to know me so far, like there was this glass that I was always constantly behind. And that was also something that totally blew me awake and open. Her passing came quickly. She completed her years, 20 years with One Spirit last September after our final ordination in Glastonbury. And she made the decision that she was leaving, and she wasn't much older than me. And her son is just a week younger, than my son. So right from the start, we connected on that part of us that were mums and mumming at the same kind of ages. Just 20. The boys are 20 now. And I guess, and this I'm sure is going to be an emotional one. So if you're listening in the background, you might hear snivels away. And if you're watching, then I'm just probably going to become more of a mess. I had to sit with what was really kind of apparent to me, which wasn't just, here's a life that has gone way too soon. She was diagnosed with uterine cancer, like women's cancer, right? I'm a believer that cancer and disease that lives in our body comes from those things that we shut down and we don't connect on. And so when it's something highly female, we've mothered too long, we've given too much of ourselves, and we need to find those ways to reconnect with those parts of ourselves and begin to look after ourselves much, much better. That's hard to say when you've lost someone that way. And she did everything that they wanted her to do. She went through um, all of the medical interventions. And she had the deepest spiritual faith, and hundreds of thousands of people in prayer and healing for her. And it really also brings home to me that when your time is up, your time is up. When you have more to do off the earth plane than you do on the earth plane. And so she had all of the interventions. She had a hysterectomy. She sent me a beautiful picture afterwards, which was a waving hello from the hospital, but I now really see it as a waving goodbye. She knew, I think, that something wasn't good after surgery. Even though she felt up, she left me an amazing voice message. It was beautiful. I'd sent her our journal from Sacred Sister for her to kind of write and begin her healing journey in. And yet, just a few short weeks, I think a month after her surgery, she was back in hospital. And last Friday, so 2 weeks ago today, she was told that they could do no more for her and that she had weeks. And within 5 days, she was gone. Now I'm sharing that full journey with you, not as a shocker or not as a kind of this happened, but as a sobering kind of reality. And honestly, I've been moving through more grief, like that full body ache, the one that lives in your chest and makes the whole world just feel a little off kilter. And I realized that it even in her passing, she's cracked open another level for me. She's cracked me open in even more ways. Because in the midst of it all, I found myself reaching for the only things I know that really bring me back. My spiritual practices, my stillness, writing, journaling, movement, nature. So I wanted to record this podcast from that space, not polished, not perfect, but true and raw and real, because I know I'm not the only one who sometimes feels really lost. Maybe you're going through something too. It doesn't have to be a death, transitions, heartbreaks, change, our children growing, letting go. Like they are all big things that we can often find ourselves feeling grief and lost from. Many of us don't really know what that feeling of grief truly is. If you are, then I hope that these 5 gentle practices I'm going to share with you today can meet you where you are and really help you to walk back home to yourself. So first things first is like, don't rush the feelings, right? I let myself cry this week. I didn't make it neat or presentable. It was big, it was messy, and it was mine. That's not easy for me. Again, this amazing teacher cracked open that part of me and really healed something in me, along with my beautiful husband, who I often say this to him, I've cried more in the time we've been married than I've cried ever in my life. Like that's a derogatory thing. But actually, it's the reality that I feel safe enough for the first time ever in my life to cry and to be okay to cry. I'm not sure about you. If we're a similar age, you probably grew up in the same kind of stiff upper lip household. Hugs weren't a thing. Pull yourself together. You're stronger than this. Come on, you've got it. Let's go. You don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Hello. I mean, there was even a song about that, right? But it's not big and it's not clever to not cry. I remember teaching my children from a young age, and I thank God that I did, because I recognize how much I have had to heal from the things that I've held in, the emotions that I've held in over my whole entire life. I've been through some huge tragedies in my life. I've had 12 pregnancies, like 8 miscarriages. And I rarely cried over any of them because I didn't give myself permission to. I didn't stop long enough. It just became a thing. Oh, we've lost another one. Okay, get over it. I'm the mother who sent her child to school with appendicitis, Come on, put yourself together. Let's go. It's fine. You've just probably got a tummy ache. It'll be okay. It'll go away. And within 4 hours, we were in major surgery. Don't be that mum. And I don't beat myself up for that, it is what it is. My son still lords it over me every once in a while. Do you remember, Mum? But all was well, thank God, or thank the goddess, or thank whatever source you believe in. But something really hit home in the last week, in that, the most spiritual thing that we can do is to truly feel everything. So if you're in that place, I really encourage you to breathe into it. Let yourself be there. There is so much wisdom in your tears. I'm part of a group at the moment of amazing women, and I did a breathwork session this Wednesday evening. And it was all about, business and strategy and like finding the breakthroughs. And all I could do after this breathwork session was just cry more and more and more. And as I kind of came to from this very spot, I looked out the window. You'll see from the light coming in that it's very bright. It's a very beautiful window, east facing kind of sunrise window. And this hot air balloon literally kind of just skimmed the top of the barn outside. It's floated off, big rainbow hot air balloon. It was beautiful and powerful, and like I wouldn't have missed that moment for anything. So get really comfortable with your tears, let them flow. And I really want to also bring home to you that a client the other day is going through some tough stuff and she had some tears. And she had some tears. And she said, "Oh, it's okay. I'm a big crier, but I don't cry for long. I get over it quite quickly." And I was like, "Oh, ouch. Like, that's not good. Getting over it quickly isn't good. That's a trauma response to not being allowed to feel our feelings." So I want you to own your tears in the coming weeks. I'm just moving my leg because for those of you that can't see me, oh, because I'm getting older. I'm sitting cross-legged for too long. I'm not a yogi. so so really feeling the feelings, allowing those big feelings to be there and be present. The second one is stillness and that sacred silence. Meditation doesn't mean getting rid of pain. It doesn't mean you have to sit and for hours on end. It means really truly creating space for it to move, for the pain to move, for it to be felt and to move through you. So I sat with my breath this week, and even though my mind was racing, my heart eventually softened. Every 5 minutes of stillness can shift something huge. So if it feels good, pause this podcast. Take a moment if you're not driving, or even if you are, to sit in the silence and ask, what does your soul really want you to hear today? What does my soul want me to hear today? It's powerful when you listen. Journaling now. Journaling can really give me the ick, which seems crazy because I wrote a journal and I created a journal for Sacred Sister. But I created the kind of journal that's going to make me want to go there, and it's going to make me want to open the pages, and it's going to make me want to connect with it. It's full of artwork. In fact, I'm laughing because I'm literally looking at it here in front of me. Will I show you? Will it make any sense? It will for those of you that are on the tube watching. I don't mean the train. Here is our journal, and I created this journal because it's ring bound. You can tear the pages out if you write something that you don't want anyone else to see, or you have a ritual that you want to. And in it, it's full of like artwork. It's got 52 pieces of artwork from 13 different amazing female artists. It's got rituals. It's got ceremony. It's got prompts. It's got quotes. It's got affirmations. So I created the journal that I want to write in. Like I've got so many notepads. In fact, I had the biggest burn up of like 60 old journals this year to really release that energy. But journaling can give me the ick, especially when you hear, it talked about so much in the spiritual world. But my journal for me is always there. There's a part in the beginning of our journal that's a ritual for you to actually kind of really bless your journal and awaken your journal. And I always say to people, give your journal a name. My journal's always called Doris. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. But she's always called Doris. And Doris is like, I have this imagination that kind of Doris is this elder lady. In fact, I just realised why. My mum used to have a client called Doris. My mum's a hairdresser, and Doris used to come round to our house and have her, her shampoo and set every week. And I can just remember Doris coming in the door and just being the most gentlest, loveliest lady. Growing up, I had like about, I don't know, 20 grandmas, it felt like, because they'd all come round and, haven't you grown this week? And give me pocket money. It was great. But that's a sweet memory. So my channel is always called Doris. And Doris is really close to my heart, and I can share anything I like with Doris, and Doris doesn't judge me. She doesn't have anything to say back. She doesn't. I don't have to worry about whether she's going to tell anyone or not. I don't have to worry about whether she's going to, have words of bloody wisdom and advice that I might not need or want, because actually I just want to hear my own voice. So that's why journaling for me became such a big deal. So this week I just opened a blank page and I just poured out the truth. No editing, no grammar. My husband's like the grammar police. He's massively dyslexic, and because he's massively dyslexic, he learned how to be uber awesome on grammar. I'm shit. I'm rubbish. I write as I speak, and so and I've been picked up on it so many times. It's like if you can't get past that, you're not my person. But just honesty. Like if you need a place to begin in your journal, here's a few prompts that you can try. Pause, write these down, come back to them. What am I really feeling right now? What am I really feeling right now? What part of me needs love today? What part of me really needs love today? And what would I say to a dear friend who was going through this situation? How would I look after her? What would I share with her? Would I tell her to pull herself together and get a grip? No, I wouldn't. So it's not okay for me to say it to myself either. Let the pages hold your pain. Let it catch you. Journaling is a powerful tool. And if you've never tried it, honestly, grab a scrap of paper now and just write something. Write what you're feeling. Because the minute you get it out is the minute it changes your life. I often talk about, we have that old saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. I'm looking at my time at 0707. A problem shared is a problem halved, but it's only halved if you share it with the right people. If you share it with the wrong people, those problems can grow. Man, can they grow. So your journal can't do that. It is where you can offload fully. I'm just realizing there might be quite a bit of noise in the background. I live on a dairy farm. It's milking time, so it's loud out there. And the birds. Gentle movement, like your emotions are stored in your body. We are, beautiful human beings, not human doings. We have a body and it houses all of this stuff, and it gets tense and it gets tight. And when we have emotions, we feel them in our body, and they get held and stored there. So, you don't need to go to the gym or run a mile. You don't even need to put your trainers on. But you do need to let your body feel safe again. This week I danced, not performatively, not perfectly, just soft movements. I stretched, I walked barefoot on the earth, I swayed to music in my kitchen with tears running down my cheeks. Grief is energy, and energy needs to move. Emotion is energy in motion. If we're not moving our body, we store it. It becomes stagnant. It becomes the very thing that creates dis-ease in the body, in my opinion. So move in whatever way feels kind and true to you. Just feel it in your body and let it move through you. Put on the kind of tune that reflects your emotion. Like if you need something banging to really move through, if you need something to rage to, if you need something to be soft and gentle to, use the music. It is your medicine. And when we're talking about medicine, nature is medicine. When I was at my most overwhelmed, we've had some beautiful weather, so it was easy. I just went out and laid down on the grass. And nature really reminded me of who I am, that I'm part of something much bigger, that even when I forget myself, the earth never does. Trees don't hurry, birds still sing, the seasons still change, and so do we. So let nature love you back into wholeness. That's the part that we have to play in our own lives. taking radical self-responsibility for what we need in every moment. In all of our big emotions, we're not taught how to deal with big emotions as a child. We're pushed aside usually for those big emotions. So if you've been moving through something hard, we really want you to know that you're not broken. You're actually becoming more of you, connecting to more of you, healing those old parts of you that were told it wasn't okay. And these 5 practices, they're not magic pills, but they are gentle doorways, ways to slowly come back to yourself one breath at a time. And if that really moves you and you're really looking for a sacred space to walk this path with others, then we have lots of those paths. If you're not inside the sanctuary yet, you should probably consider it. It is a place of deep connection, real conversation, and real heart-led healing. You can find the link somewhere here in the show notes. It's a place where there's no pressure. You don't have to be doing more. You don't even have to check in. It's an app on your phone or on your screen, wherever you want to, but there's no hard rhythm that says you have to be here and show up. This is about taking away that masculine linear structure to healing and saying, you know what, let's just do this together. Let's do this together, because women heal just by being in each other's presence. So until next time, if this has touched something in you, drop a comment. Let's not do this together. Let's not do this together. Oh, let's do this together. Let's not do this alone. Let's not do this alone. We are not meant to heal alone. You know, how much self-development work have you done by yourself? And then you get in a relationship and it all blows up in your face, because we're meant to heal together, especially as women. So don't be afraid to drop in wherever you've seen this, heard this, message me privately. You know, it's time for us to really step in. If you're around in London, come and see me at the Mind Body Spirit Fair this weekend. It's interesting that my friend is, her funeral, you know, this is the mark of somebody when they pass, right? A WhatsApp group was set up for friends and family to connect with, and there's over 400 people in that space leaving their love and gratitude. And that was overwhelming as these messages came in more and more and more. And we'll have a big memorial at some point later in the year, but her very private, beautiful ceremony and burial will happen in London tomorrow, and I'll be in London. What are the odds? And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be in that place, but just being on that same kind of soil, that same land, I feel the ripples wherever we are. But yeah, what's taken me to London? I've never done the Mind Body Spirit show in London before, but I booked it. And so yeah, sometimes I look at these kind of wider pictures, wider reasons, what's happening in life really when you stop pushing it and start really living it. So until next time, I really want to urge you to be so gentle with yourself, to remember that you are a beautiful, sacred being, not doing, and that you are never alone. Thank you for joining me around the kitchen table this week. And if this has moved you in any way, I would really love your help to share this into your own communities. Take the link, add it on your own socials, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. I'm not very good at this self-promotion bit, so, help me out here, sister. Share it away, because, leaning into the wisdom that I hold within me, I'm not saying and speaking anything that you don't already know, but I hope that my voice reaches you in some way to connect you back to yourself. And I know that if you need this and I need this, then I know that other women do too. So thank you for sharing in advance. I trust that you will go out there and connect with some other women. I look forward to connecting with you on next week's Around the Kitchen Table. Take care. Have a beautiful week. All my love. Laura signing out. Take care.